Hi, you guys, and welcome to another My Reaction video. I like doing these, y'all. I like having these discussions, but I need you before we get started on discussing today's topic. Drop down in the comment sections what you guys want me to react to. Go ahead, hit the thumbs up because you're with your girl again, and tap on that subscribe button. Go ahead and do that, and let's get into it. So today we're talking about Botox. Yes. Do you guys get any kind of procedures done? What's your take on this? But we're doing a little bit something different with it. It's not just Botox, it's utilizing Botox for depression. So I'm curious, have you guys heard of this? Because I've been seeing it around a lot lately. But come to find out, it's not necessarily new. I've just been seeing it around more. Now, I will admit, your girl gets Botox. In fact, your girl is getting some Botox today, and I am so excited. Okay, first off, let me clear something up. I get Botox because I have daily migraine headaches. There are different types of migraine headaches, and I didn't even know that. I have daily migraine headaches, and then annually I have a full-blown migraine attack. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you have migraines. It's the kind that you have to be alone in a dark room, do not drive, and you will vomit. Y'all guys ever felt pain so bad that it made you vomit? I feel you, it's debilitating. I do apologize, people are mowing at my residence. So I want to go ahead and hear more about this, how it's utilized to treat depression, all that good stuff. And of course, y'all will see my reactions and I'm going to tell you my thoughts. So let me make myself a little, I'm going to move myself up here somewhere. Okay, let's see. I was going to go to this one by CBS News, so let's click on that.
Hello, everybody. Anton Curley here from
Of course, there's an
dropshiplifestyle.com.
ad.
And before you click the skip ad button and move on, I want to quickly tell you.
Botox got its first FDA approval for cosmetic uses 15 years ago this week. Since then, it's been approved to treat many conditions from migraines to excessive sweating. Now researchers are testing the injections to see if they can treat depression and social anxiety. Weijia Jiang has more from Washington, D.C.
Morning. Hi, how are you?
Army veteran Vivian Cook has long struggled with debilitating depression. She has tried alternative therapies and medication to cope with her symptoms.
It wasn't effective. Some of the side effects would be headaches or stomach aches.
Or suicidal thoughts, which just blows my mind.
I feel like
Then 3 years ago, she tried something different after hearing about a study testing Botox to treat depression.
We don't believe it has anything to do with looks.
Dr. Eric Finzi says facial expressions are part of the circuit of the brain related to mood.
Fear.
Okay, before we get into this, here's my thoughts. It looks like he's having to deal with the forehead, but I would think, they say if you fake a smile, it's scientifically proven that it tricks your brain into being happy even when you're not feeling that way. So I'm thinking if they're putting Botox around the mouth and it's relaxing the mouth from things like frown lines, it may trick your brain into being happier. But it looks like they're putting it into the forehead, so I'm curious.
Anger and sadness all go through this muscle. Very important. So Botox basically inhibits the muscle and just calms it down. So it becomes more difficult to feel those negative emotions.
The makers of Botox just announced the final phase of testing for depression will begin. Dr. Finzi says previous studies show between 50 to 60% of patients benefit from the treatment.
Our hope is that eventually it'll form a place as one of the tools to treat depression.
Dr. Finzi is also studying whether Botox can treat social anxiety. Vivian says she noticed a change in her depression almost immediately.
my mood was better on a day-to-day basis. I had less problems with depression.
Okay, now I find that hard to believe just because for for people who do utilize Botox as a way to treat their headaches, I have heard, and from my own experience, it can take about 7 days, sometimes a little bit longer. It kind of depends, but you're usually looking at a week to notice any kind of improvements. And that's just because the injection doesn't work as soon as you get it. It does have to, over time is basically when it's released and relaxing the muscle. That being said, I'm all for this. If she felt immediate improvements, good for her. I'm all for this. I am not a huge advocate for typical medications just because, I love science, but I do feel like when we're utilizing different medications, there's so many side effects that you might treat one problem, it leads to 10 others. And especially when it comes to things like depression and anxiety, all of those medications, it's about trial and error. And so many of their side effects are depression and even worse, suicidal thoughts. So if you're like me and you are a person who can struggle with depression on and off and anxiety on and off, mine has only been on the suicidal aspect one time in my life. And I'm just thinking, if I were to make that step to go on a medication, it sounds like that could make it worse. In my opinion, utilizing Botox for a way to treat anxiety and depression, I think is fantastic if that's all it takes. For me, in a Botox session, I usually spend about $100, but that is over 6 months. I usually get Botox one time every 6 months, and my insurance doesn't cover it because I utilize it solely for under cosmetic labels, because to get it under a medical procedure when you're dealing with headaches, you have to trial and error so many different medications before insurance will result to, okay, let's try Botox. And I didn't want to go through all that. I tried one medication, the Topamax, and it kind of seemed to work for a little bit, but Botox was the winner for sure. So I have to, just pay out of pocket. Now, when you're dealing with something like depression as an option, I am hoping to see that that is covered under their insurance. But even so, $100 every 6 months is not that bad. It's really not that bad. And I think that the majority of people could pay that out of pocket if that were the worst case scenario. But overall, I am a huge fan of this. Hope, I hope so bad that it works, because I've seen people with worse cases of depression than I have, and it is debilitating. Same with things like migraines. And if it's something as simple as Botox, I pray that that's the solution. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm curious if you guys think that that's a good option. I'm curious if you guys have tried it, if you've had success with Botox for more than a cosmetic option. Okay. Thanks, guys.